I'm sick to kick your ass.
Well, how was the
Uh,
pizza you had for supper, though?
Incredible. It was a pretty good pizza. It was
Yeah,
Papa Murphy's, so I'm always a big fan of Papa Murphy's.
you want to
So
know why it was a good pizza? It's because all pizza is good.
yeah, you wish.
Well, we'll get into that here in a minute. Let's get loaded. Not prepared today.
Early Sunday morning, got the game on.
Welcome to the Loaded Box Podcast.
Where we never finish first because we finish last.
Thank you once again for tuning in to the Loaded Box Podcast. I'm Ben Morgan. That's DJ Primo. And I know you want to talk about pizza right away, but I think we teased it. I think we got to wait a little bit.
Oh, I'm just glad that we can hear each other. It feels like it's been 2 weeks since the last podcast, and I've been itching for a bounce back performance after that garbage.
Yep. Thank you for everyone who was able to go through the last podcast. It was cool that we were able to have Vincent Taylor on, but our sound quality took a shot right to the balls.
Yeah.
So thank you for doing that. But since then, it was our goal to have 1,000 followers on Twitter before the Super Bowl. And I think I woke up Super Bowl Sunday and we had 1,000 Twitters. We had 1,000 Twitters. We had 1,000 Twitter followers. What are your comments? Let's treat it like it's an award show.
Well, I'd like to thank all the followers, and my family, my little baby child, for coming on the podcast, and lastly, my co-host. He does a little bit, but I'm really the talent. But I'm glad you're there to listen to me talk.
Lastly.
Yeah.
Well, if you aren't following us on Twitter, you can find us on Twitter at LoadedBox. Check out our website. We're still pumping out blogs. We're posting our podcast there. It's loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com. But man, let's talk a little bit about Super Bowl and whatever the hell else we come up with today.
Yeah.
Greatest Super Bowl of all time or no?
No, I mean, I feel like I could say that a lot of years, but it was a fun Super Bowl to watch just because of all the points.
Like one of the most points, most yards.
It was the most points, wasn't it?
I don't think it was most points. I think the Chargers and the
or was it the most yards?
Most total yards.
Was it the most total yards ever though?
Yes.
In a game?
Oh yeah, ever in a game. Yep.
Yeah.
How
not
crazy
just
is that?
Super Bowl, but like any game.
No one could stop anyone.
No, and this is what I was trying to tell you guys, like the last 3 weeks, is that the Patriots defense is fucking just garbage. Like their secondary is not their defense, but their secondary in general is really bad. And they proved me right against Bortles, who barely threw the ball and had success, and then they proved me right against Foles, who they couldn't fucking stop anything.
As we go on, I want to talk a little bit about the future of the Patriots, but you brought up that secondary, so let's bring up the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
Malcolm Butler. What are you thinking about that whole benching, the whole situation, and how that's played out?
Belichick has an ego that is so fucking inflated that when your team is getting torched, you have to try to. You would feel like, okay, you know what? We're getting our ass kicked in the first half. Let's put in Butler. I think that's enough punishment in the Super Bowl.
Right.
Or is he just at the point where I've already won fucking 5 Super Bowls, so
punishment for what though right now? There's so many rumors. Like, what's that punishment for? Is it for? They say he broke curfew. There's talk about weed. There's talk about a meltdown in front of coaches, but none of that's been confirmed. He denied that again today. We're recording this Tuesday night.
Yeah.
He denied that again, and Belichick continues to go down this path of it's performance. We just thought that someone else would give us a better chance. The dude played 90% of the snaps of the entire season. Yeah. There's no way. I don't want to say that the absence of Butler cost him the game.
No.
But it couldn't have hurt.
Yeah, it definitely couldn't have hurt. I couldn't have hurt, but it was. I don't understand it.
I've never really felt there was one punt in the entire game. I've never really had that feeling watching a game that they're going to score. A field goal is almost like worst case scenario right now. It felt like there was going to be a touchdown every single possession.
It almost felt like field goal was a failure. at
Yeah.
that point. Like, if you didn't score a touchdown, you're going to be in trouble for the next drive.
Oh, I totally agree. But was there that feeling when New England got the ball back? Okay, first of all, what are they doing on Deion Lewis gets it, and then they do like an end around to Burkhead on the kickoff and basically put themselves at the 10-yard line. What are you breaking that play out for right there?
I think that's genius because anytime you get Rex Burkhead the ball, you give yourself a chance to score a touchdown. I mean, honestly, he broke that first tackle, and I was like, oh my God, the Eagles are so lucky he didn't score right there because I thought he was gone. Right when he got the ball, I'm like, shit, he just scored a touchdown.
So that play, the benching of Malcolm Butler.
Nobody understands that I'm a Nebraska fan, I don't think.
I get what you're saying. I'm so upset with Rex Burkhead. There's one NFL
Why?
team.
He didn't get any snaps.
I know.
And his first play of the game that he got the ball was a 46-yard reception.
yarder.
And I was like, they win this game if they get Rex Burkhead every fucking time.
New England's still the only team he can even play on in the NFL.
No, he can play on them all. You just got to give him the rock.
So that play on the final kickoff there, the benching of Malcolm Butler, the Patriots and their coaching staff, because of all that they've been able to accomplish over the years, they are basically getting a free pass. Everyone else right now would be crucified for some of those play calls.
I still think they're getting crucified. I
Not
still think Bill Belichick's getting a lot of criticism. I know I've watched a lot of different outlets than you do. I think as far as the Patriots and Eagles people go, I follow something that you don't follow, and there is a lot of outrage, I think, as far as that goes.
Is there? I just haven't seen it. I just feel like there'd be more if it was the other way around. Like if Peterson would have done this for the Eagles, like I feel like he'd just be getting crushed right now.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people having to defend that felt like they're like defending the Patriots, where they're like, how does this ruin the legacy of Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, blah, blah, blah. So I've seen actually the opposite of what you're saying, mostly.
I will say, I think legacy is one of the most overrated things. Like no one ever remembers, like, so Michael Jordan, like, did coming back and playing for the Wizards or whatever they were called when he played, like, that didn't ruin anything. Michael Jordan's still going to be going down as, like, the greatest of all time, along with LeBron.
Well, that was the point that they were making, I think. It didn't matter.
That's the thing. Like, that. No, I'm with you on that. I get that.
Yeah.
But, I don't know, it's just crazy. But we talk about, like, the coaches and how they can get ridiculed for something. I wanted to talk about the touchdown pass on 4th and goal right before halftime to Nick Foles. If that doesn't work, Peterson is just getting he's just going to get bombarded. But it worked, and now he's a genius. That's that.
He was set up to work though. Like, I honestly thought Nick Foles was just audibly. Like, everybody on the field thought he was audibly, and so it worked out so good. Yep. And then they snapped it, and then you're like, oh, it's a fucking...
Yep.
You just assume it's a running back run. You're like, oh, it's a reverse now. Yep. And then you're like, oh, fuck. He's going to throw...
Yeah.
Trey Burton, your guy who used to play quarterback for Florida, throws the ball to fucking Nick Foles in a most incredible... I yelled so many different things. I was like, oh! No! And then I was just screaming. I'm like, oh, he's going to throw it! It was just ridiculous. It was such a great head call. And I know in the Super Bowl... party during it, I said, you have to call this, you have to be aggressive. Everybody else in there was disagreeing with me, but I felt like at that point, you're going to beat the Patriots, you got to go for it on 4th and goal and score a touchdown.
Oh yeah, you got to take advantage of that field position. The Patriots were going to get the ball back after half. That was their chance, and it worked. And you nailed it. Never pre-snap was I like, this play isn't, this is a fake play. I thought for sure, he was just, checking with the linemen. They did such a great job. That was executed better than...
The best thing is they fucking called the timeout. They called the timeout before that, and most of the time, when you call a timeout, it seems like the coach is like, all right, fucking, let's kick a field goal.
Yep.
And they just drew up a play, and word on the street now is that Nick Foles actually called that play.
Yeah, I read that he had done that play in, high school or something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. That's pretty damn wild. So the other one that was pretty wild was the pass to Tom Brady.
Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I mean, it was a perfect throw, hit him right in stride, and Tom Brady just alligator armed it. He pulled his arms in too quickly, and it came off his fingertips, and I don't want to reuse that joke again about Giselle, so I'm not going to, but... Brady's an unathletic white quarterback.
Dude, I don't know the Giselle's joke.
it's so stupid that Brady cannot actually catch the ball and run or throw the ball and catch the ball. In fact, or something like that.
No, I don't know.
You know, after the Super Bowl, she's like, "My husband cannot catch the ball and throw the ball."
Oh, yep, I
like,
gotcha.
A few years back, and everybody's like, "Oh, he can't." Did you not look at Twitter after that? It was all over the place.
I was
stupid.
tired.
Yeah, it was just like, "Oh, apparently Tom Brady can't actually throw and catch the ball."
I tweeted something after that play, and it was total overanalyzing of the play. Like you can always go back to this play, that play, but like if Amendola could go back and do that again,
I think it was a fine play call.
it was a fine play call. It was a fine pass. But if he could
the
go,
pass was perfect.
It was. But that's the thing. It's like if he could go back and do it again, it's like, okay, I'm throwing the ball to Tom Brady. I'm going to throw it where he has to stop and let it catch him. Because if you hit Tom Brady in stride, Tom Brady's stride is not even a stride.
Yeah, the opposite of that though is like he's finally going full speed for Tom Brady. Could you imagine what he'd have to how long it takes his wheels to turn to stop and then try to go? He might not even get the fucking first down.
He might have.
He has to stop and catch it.
He might have tore something.
There.
He might have tore something.
God, watching that guy run is the biggest fucking just fiasco. I love it. It looks like everything is moving.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
It's so unathletic.
There was so I want to get to Josh McDaniels here in a second, but it's so crazy that Nick Foles comes in, doesn't do that well in the regular season.
Yeah, sucks against
kind
the
of
Falcons.
limps through the Falcons game, dominates versus the Vikings, dominates versus the Patriots, wins Super Bowl MVP, and now it's like, oh, I was playing with Carson Wentz, who was like the regular season MVP before he got hurt, and they're definitely going to stick with Wentz. Foles is under contract, but do you think, what do you think they're going to do with Foles? Are they gonna hang on to him with that low cap number? Are they going to try to trade him because his trade value is never going to be higher?
The only problem with that, and I know everybody's going to say it, is that you don't know how fast Carson Wentz can recover.
Right.
So you almost have to keep him for the time being until Carson. Obviously, Carson Wentz is the quarterback there. If you don't think that he is, you're an idiot. Carson Wentz is the quarterback. I honestly think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL right now, and is going to be really, really good. He just shows intangibles that other quarterbacks just don't have in general.
Hypothetical. Let's say, okay, because right now the Vikings are interviewing that DiFilippo guy that's in Philly and for their offensive coordinator. And there's rumors of maybe Foles potentially going somewhere with him. What if you get the Vikings first round pick? Do you hang on to him as that back pick?
Or do that again? Do the same fucking trade they already did once?
Right?
Sam Bradford for the first round pick and not Nick Foles?
I wouldn't do it. They don't have any quarterbacks. None of them are under contract.
Bridgewater is going to be their quarterback. He's going to be nothing, and he's going to be pretty good. I think he's better than Case Keenum, honestly. So I think Bridgewater is the easy way to go for Minnesota. Foles has to go somewhere else.
Well, I'm with you that I think you keep Foles because Wentz got injured so late, you really don't know when he's going to be back. But
Foles goes somewhere else within the next 2 years.
I would agree with that. But the fact is, the trade value, what holds me back a little bit is that trade value is never going to be higher.
No, that's
if you
true.
can fetch a first rounder for him, it's like, how do you hold on to him?
Yeah, if they think they can go get a solid backup that they could throw in there somebody.
Matt Moore?
I don't know, like Blake Bortles. Something like that could come start for them for a second. That would be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. You could get some good shit out of them.
Yeah.
It's get yourself somebody in the secondary if you're the Eagles.
Right, because that's definitely what they would need. I mean, they have so many. They have all but one of their starters on offensive defense under contract, which is almost unheard of from a Super Bowl team.
Yeah.
But, man, it's just crazy all in general. Just that whole situation. The offseason is going to be wild with all the quarterback situations and everything. Do you have anything else you want to talk about games specifically?
Oh, let me think. I think we covered everything I would have wanted to talk about. It was just a great Super Bowl, but not the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I don't know. I still think last year's was better, honestly.
Last year's. God, it's almost hard to beat that.
Because it's just
I would take last year's over this year's. Yeah.
I mean, honestly, the Green Bay Packers against the Steelers might be the best of all time.
Steelers versus Cardinals, Patriots versus Giants.
There's some incredible, the both Giants-Patriots games.
Yeah.
Yeah,
both of those are up there.
Yeah, anytime an undefeated team gets beat in the Super Bowl is a pretty incredible game.
Yeah, I mean Super Bowl 7, Dolphins beating the Redskins, perfect season.
Yeah, great job.
Actually, I watched that game once. It was terrible. Uh, Halftime show, I give it a 6.
Oh, fuck, 10. 10 out of 10. I give it a 10. A 10.
Why?
I love Justin Timberlake.
Okay, you can love somebody, but like,
Oh,
why?
no, he was incredible.
Why was it that good? Why was it so good to you?
So, like, everybody's like, oh, he danced too much, he danced too much. But he actually did sing the whole, there was like the first half he danced of the performance, the second half he sang, and when they busted out Mirror, I legitimately, like, almost cried.
Oh my gosh, what a confession.
I had chills, and I almost cried, because that's just an incredible song that he made, and he's so, like, JT can do whatever he wants. That, and the fact that he's walked up right into the fucking crowd, is the most, like, nobody's ever done that before. He walked right up into the Super Bowl crowd. Nobody knew he was doing that.
I will say that was easily the best part of the performance. And my favorite part about that is the memes that have come out about those kids where they, like, show the kid and then they show, like, him, like, on Googling who's the old guy performing at the Super Bowl. Like, those are by far. That's the best part of it. Can I get your attention, please?
I'm reading about this McDaniel, sorry.
Oh, okay, because I just threw that out there and I needed a laugh out of somebody. So can you?
Sorry,
there you go.
but
Thanks.
Like an article came out real quick about why McDaniel's decided to stay with the Patriots. It has nothing to do with luck. It all says could be perhaps that Belichick's tenure is coming to an end, family considerations, and fondness for the Patriots, but nothing to do with looks like luck.
I agree because, like we talked about before this, like if it was Andrew Luck related with his injury, he wouldn't have accepted in the first place. It wouldn't have came at 7:00 at night. Oh, Andrew Luck's arm isn't good. Never mind. I'm not
like,
coming.
oh shit! A few weeks later, I find out it's actually not good.
Yeah.
And now we're gonna like they would tell him that anyways.
Right.
Like, give me a break.
So it has to be New England related. Whether that's Belichick leaving now, I doubt. I really doubt that's a thing. I think it's more of a succession plan. Like in the future, like you're our guy.
What if Belichick went and was the offensive coordinator for the Niners?
What if Belichick went to Indianapolis now?
That would be hilarious.
Even better.
He convinces McDaniels to stay and then fucking bails.
I'll let you stay. I'm gonna go. You can have old Andrew Luck. Yeah, he goes or he goes to San Francisco and hangs with Garoppolo. That'd be
and Shanahan.
Oh yeah, and Shanahan.
Yeah. He's a good friend of him.
We'll get back to more off-season stuff. The only thing I wanted to say about halftime was I think, like I said, I gave it a 6. I feel like I was being generous. I just felt like a 5 was way too cliche. Like you got to go to 6. You got to go 4 6.
Oh.
I think that is totally thinking like a different angle here. That's definitely made for TV though, right? Like with the camera angles, the lights, the dancing. I think that probably sucks live.
No, I bet it's pretty good. I mean, that's why the lights are off and stuff like that.
And the other thing, I just think it would suck live. And why I think people, and what I thought you were actually going to bring up, why I think people thought it was so good, because he played to the Minnesota crowd with the whole Prince thing. But I think Prince is overrated, so I don't really care.
Like, everybody would have done that, Ben. Like, the fact that it was in Minnesota,
true.
It wasn't him playing. It was like, you were in Minnesota, you have to do a Prince thing.
Oh, the best one. Because you know how it came on that big bed sheet?
Yeah.
Someone put a meme together where instead of Prince, it was Dave Chappelle as Prince. That was.
Oh God.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Dave Chappelle would somehow come out of this.
Yeah, I loved that one.
But that kid, I heard that kid didn't even have Twitter, so he took the picture and he had to like send it, and somebody else had to put the picture on Twitter for him. Like this little fucking 12-year-old kid with those nasty ass braces.
I thought it was hilarious though because
braces.
Yeah, he did. He's a big baller.
Yeah.
I thought it was hilarious that like Timberlake went by him and he like tried to like kind of sing along and then he realized he didn't know the words.
And he was like the definition. He did know the words. He was like the definition of a little white kid trying to dance.
Yeah.
He looked so fucking like
He did.
awkward.
He looked terrible. Did you notice what sweatshirt he was wearing?
No, not at all. I couldn't get over his stupid face and him not fucking looking at his goddamn phone.
Oh yeah, he was ridiculous. My eyes couldn't go off of him, which was
I
hilarious.
couldn't either. I love JT, but I'm like, what the fuck is this kid doing?
Yeah.
Pull it together.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, his sweatshirt that he had on was some like ski resort, that ski resort reached out to him because they realized all the free publicity they got through the Super Bowl. They
Oh,
gave him
really?
like a year pass.
What was the wide receiver that was there?
That was where?
There was a wide receiver in the background too.
At halftime show?
Yeah, like in the crowd.
I have no idea what
Oh
this
my
would be.
god, it was fucking. We'll go on.
Well, if you can find it, we can go on. Are you a Super Bowl commercial watcher?
No.
No,
I
me
try
either.
to, and then I just forget that I'm watching the commercials.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they fucking suck.
I always forget to watch.
They used to be good.
See, I don't even remember them like one.
It was like 10 years ago, though.
Yeah, I think by far the
I think it'd
best
be inappropriate.
was the Eli Manning, Odell Beckham dancing. But the fact that I care so little about the commercials and I don't care about the halftime performance, none of that, I couldn't even tell you what that commercial was for.
Oh, it was for, it was actually a good one. So it was actually just for NFL celebrations, like, getting better.
Oh, that one was?
Yeah, that's
Oh.
all it was. It was by the NFL for NFL celebrations. That one I liked. There was way too many fucking Tide commercials. I couldn't even keep up. But I also liked the one I can think of, and you don't watch Game of Thrones, but it was Tyrion Lannister. He was rapping as, like, Busta Rhymes.
Oh.
I don't know if you remember that. He was like, shove it up,
Yeah.
It was a midget. Tyrion's a midget.
Yep. Morgan Freeman
And,
was the other one.
Yeah, Morgan Freeman was in there. I like that, but that's because I like Game of Thrones, so it was pretty funny.
So they had Busta Rhymes on Levitard the day before, and he was talking about it because he was representing Doritos in that Mountain Dew, and they go, so you're here on behalf of Doritos and Mountain Dew, and I got to think for a guy like you, there's probably not, and they were Dorito Blaze. That's where that story was going. They were Doritos Blaze. They go, for a guy like you, there can't be much of a better combination than that. And he just laughed, and he was like, yeah, I got it. But
What do you think about those Doritos that aren't coming out about that were made for girls?
Made
Like
for
they're
girls?
A quieter.
first and foremost,
Dorito?
though, I need you to listen to my stories.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay.
I was going off the Doritos.
I just heard about it now, actually, about like
Oh,
what
really?
they don't have a crunch.
Yeah, but they like discontinued it because Twitter freaked out.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Whatever. If you want to eat a non-crunchy Dorito, I guess you're just eating. I don't even know what that would be. Let's move
Yeah.
on. I don't know what are you doing right now?
I'm trying to figure out who that fucking was. Freddie Mitchell.
Freddie Mitchell was in the background. Fred
Yeah,
X.
It was Freddie. Man was finally identified as Freddie Mitchell, the 39-year-old former Eagles wide receiver.
No way.
Yeah, he had two phones, and everybody was trying to figure out what the fuck was going on.
I'm surprised he didn't throw the X up, man.
Yeah, Freddie fucking Mitchell. Sorry, I had to figure it out. I talked to Felicity when I'm trying to solve mysteries.
Did you realize it was him, or did you just hear it was him?
Twitter, like, I don't know what. Are you not looking at Twitter during the Super Bowl?
Every once in a while.
God, it was blowing up. Like, they're like, look at Freddie Mitchell looking ass in the background. Like, it was like, oh my god.
That's
It
so
was like-
funny. What are the odds he was in that section?
It was wild. That fucking kid and then Freddie Mitchell with two fucking phones.
God, that's great. Well, we talked about Twitter a little bit ago, and this is probably the most hyped up pre-podcast Twitter poll we've ever done. Not football related, but we'll get back to football here in a second. The podcast Twitter poll was, is there such thing as bad pizza, considering the fact that it has the toppings on it that you like? And I'm going to let you talk first, but I do want to say
I'm
before
going
you even get going, is your side of the poll won. So yes, so the majority of the people did think there could be such thing as bad pizza. 66% of the people. And I'm going to commend you all. I've heard some really great theories throughout the day, and I'm going to say that you guys
Facts.
you guys can believe this and you make some strong points, but this is one of those debates where I see it your way, but I'll never ever be convinced that there's such thing as bad pizza.
It just doesn't make any sense. Like, have you had Little Caesars pizza?
And it's fantastic.
It's the worst fucking pizza. It's literally, it doesn't even seem like it's cooked. It's not cooked evenly, that's for sure. It's like, almost wanting. It's not even melted cheese. It's not even almost melted cheese. It's like
It's because
almost melted
it's
cheese.
because they have to make like 700 in a row because there's such a demand for them. They're
No,
flying
there's not
off
a
the
demand.
shelves.
They just put 1,000 out there, and they all suck. And they have 800,000 going in the garbage at the end of the night that the fucking rats don't even want to eat. They are so bad. Them, I've had. Pizza Hut, I think, is awful.
Oh, Pizza Hut's great.
Yeah, you think it's great. Anything deep dish, and all deep dish pizza is the worst.
Deep dish is good.
If you like
Deep dish.
go fuck yourself.
Deep dish is good.
Yeah, New York pizza over Chicago style pizza any day. It's not even pizza. It's like it's more like a casserole. Okay, deep dish. It's like deep dish pizza casserole. It's not even a pizza. And it's disgusting. There's too much consistency, too much thickness. But I mean, there's a lot. I mean, if you have a pizza and then you microwave that pizza the next day, fucking,
I don't want.
It gets all soggy.
Hold on. I want to start somewhere first before you get to the reheating of this pizza.
Yeah.
I understand that people like certain types of pizza more than others, but even if you're having that other, even though it's not as good as the one that you prefer, it's still not bad. And my definition of bad is I take a bite and it's so bad that I don't want any more of it. I've never had a piece of pizza that I've taken a bite of and been like, holy shit, this is terrible. I'm not eating another bite. That doesn't exist. That doesn't exist.
Let me stake my claim to that part of your argument. I can believe that because you're such a bland, boring piece of shit that you won't go out of your comfort zone. You won't go out of your comfort zone. Like, this adds to my point. Like, you only eat probably one kind of pizza all the time. You stayed on your lane. Like, you have these pizzas that you will eat.
I'll eat all sorts of pizzas.
Outside of those fucking pizzas.
Pizza and beer are my things. Like, I'll try.
That's what you'll do. You stay with the types of pizzas you know. So you're like, oh, I like this pizza. I'm going to continue to eat this pizza. But you know what? Normal people like us out here are trying all different types of pizzas, and we've tried pizzas where you can take a bite, and I will literally not eat a pizza. I've done it multiple times.
I believe it.
I can't control the sauce that's on a pizza, the amount of cheese that's not on a pizza, like what kind of spices are in it. There are really, really bad pizzas out there. Like,
there's not.
Any gas station pizza, I think, for the most part, is garbage. Like the one that sit in the fucking spinning rotator thing. Not the frozen pizzas.
Oh yeah, give me the one in the cardboard box under the heated lamp all day. It's
no,
not bad.
Awful.
It's not bad.
Bad. There's so many bad pizzas where it's like, I went and got Papa John's. I thought it was gonna be good. I know me and you used to get excited about it. I got it, took a bite, and I couldn't even eat it anymore. It was the worst thing I've ever had.
I don't believe that. I've never had a bite of pizza where I've said, no, I'm not eating any more of that. That doesn't exist.
It's like your brain is so fixed on, like, you've only eaten pizza, chicken, brats, hamburgers, hot dogs that, like, you'll eat. That's, like, what you'll eat. So it's like, you don't have another perspective.
Your argument, though, has turned into
is and what is bad is, because you don't know what good and bad are.
Your argument has turned into a personal attack against me. You got to realize 34% of the people.
Proving how wrong you are because you don't know what good food is. So nobody can actually take your word on good food because you fucking you squish a goddamn hot dog and dip it in nothing. All right,
34%.
Potatoes in a fucking circle.
I crush mashed potatoes.
And then puts it in a circle and remashes and puts it in a circle.
That won't make sense to anyone listening.
You need to see goddamn opinion.
You need a visual for that one.
Yeah.
No, you got to realize though, 34% of 250 people, that was what the final vote total was.
Yeah.
Still agreed with me here. So I'm not. It wasn't a huge, overwhelming thing.
I mean, that's pretty big, though. I mean, 66% is pretty big when it comes to voting, and I think half those people were probably just not even paying attention when they put no.
Look at that theory. I think half of your people weren't paying attention.
I'm gonna put another poll out. Did you even notice that you said no? I think they probably either that or they just misclicked because there's bad pizza.
I love this debate.
The comments
the comments were all anti. The comments were all on your side. I will give you that. But I had so much fun with this Twitter poll today, and thank you for everyone who participated. We'll have to keep doing more stuff like this. But this is that debate that I'll love having. I'll have it every day of the week. I'll have pizza every day of the week. But I will never be... I'll never be going the other way. I'll never be like, that pizza sucked. Because that doesn't go together. Pizza has never sucked.
So let's rewind for a second. So the whole reason this topic, we didn't even hit on this, but the whole reason this topic came up is because Ben tweeted a picture of a pizza this morning for breakfast, and I want to retweet it like tomorrow so everybody can see it at like fucking noon. How about that? I'll retweet it Wednesday the fucking 7th at noon Central Time, so everybody can see this and everybody has a chance to listen to us. But it was the most fucking disgusting looking pizza I've ever seen. And then he said, "It doesn't matter about what it looks like. There's never been a bad pizza, and if you say there has, you're lying." And that's when like we started attacking Ben, and then the poll came out of that, and then everybody like kind of piled on. I feel like every response to your tweet was a negative, like opposite of what you said.
They all were.
But weirdly, ironically, Ben and I both got home or got calls tonight, and we're randomly having pizza.
Yeah,
that
that's
we
pretty
hadn't
effed up.
even chose. Like we didn't even decide the meals. People decided for us that we were having pizza after this huge argument we had this morning, which I thought was just incredible.
Pizza was the common denominator of the day, and there's no getting over that.
That's weird to me that shit happens. Like there's got to be something, some kind of higher power. I'm not gonna say fucking God or anything.
You just did.
But there's got to be something that controls.
Yeah.
Like how does that happen?
That was pretty damn wild.
That's wild. How many of you fuckers had pizza?
I bet like half the audience had pizza today.
Yeah, guarantee it.
Well, let's transition from pizza to the Hall of Fame, because all pizzas belong in the Hall of Fame.
You're an asshole.
They just announced who got in, and it was a hell of a class of headliners. And I want to start by saying, like, is there a certain way that you say that someone is either worthy or not worthy of the Hall of Fame when they do stuff like this, or when there's players that are eligible for it? Like, do you have a theory as to how you do it, or do you go off of stats?
Stats. It strictly comes down to stats. I don't care. I mean, obviously, I can see like, if you cheated, if it was a blatant cheating, like, I don't know, it's tough still, because the whole Barry Bonds thing in baseball is tough to deal with, because there were so many people cheating in that era. It almost seems like you should let those guys in just because everybody was. But I think it comes down to performance on the field, and that's what it should always come down. That's what the Hall of Fame is. There's nothing written in the criteria that says anything about being a good or a bad teammate. It's all about your career stats, what you did on the field. That's what it is.
What sucks about stats, though, is, you can be judged against the players that you're playing with at the time, but then you'll have, let's say, like, a guy was consistently, like, the sixth best receiver of, like, a decade. His stats, the way that the game has evolved, that sixth best receiver of the decade, of the 2010s, whatever you want to call this, is going to have so much better stats than the top-ranked receiver of, like, the 70s. So, like, I don't think you can compare stats that way, like current players versus current Hall of Famers. I think if you're going to do it stat-wise, you have to do it based on the current level of competition they're playing now.
Or that they were playing.
Well, yeah, that they played against, comparing them against their peers, because, like,
well, and then now that it's like a 5-year thing, it's a little less, like, skewed like that.
Like, okay, so my Hall of Fame test is, I say a player's name, and if I say Aaron Rodgers, is he a Hall of Famer? I say yes. And if there was a guy, so this is the example I'd go with. Matthew Stafford, is he a Hall of Famer?
No.
And if I have to think about it even for a second, I say no.
Yeah.
But if you compare, like, Matt Stafford's numbers to, like, John Elway, Jim Kelly, Troy Aikman, all these other guys that were awesome, Stafford's statistically better than those quarterbacks, but there's no way, like, he was even on par with, like, their production from when they were playing.
But some of the statistical stuff is, like, playoff success as well.
I agree with that. I definitely agree with that. So
you have to look at it as that, so he doesn't have any playoff success. So I think it still all comes back to, like, your statistical numbers and the playoff success as well.
I just love my theory. I wish everyone would use my theory on this of, is this guy a Hall of Famer? And if there's any doubt, then it's no. Like, Jerome Bettis wasn't a Hall of Famer to me. There's a lot of guys I could say that about. Like,
I don't know about Jerome Bettis.
Especially for, like, how early he got in. Like, I just have, like, if there's ever a little bit of doubt in my mind, I don't think you're worthy of that Hall of Fame level. I think there's other guys that would deserve it over a player like that.
Yeah.
I gotta say, though, this class, is my favorite class outside of being a homer, the Marino class. This class is loaded. The headliners of it, Randy Moss is legit my favorite receiver of all time. I always liked Terrell Owens. I know you always liked Terrell Owens.
Owens is one of my favorite of all time.
Oh, gosh, the guy was a monster.
Yeah.
Brian Urlacher, I mean, honestly, I can take or leave as a player, but there was no denying his greatness. And Ray Lewis is like the character of characters who was great on the field.
That guy, if anybody should not be in there for character, it's fucking Ray
Well,
Lewis.
not like good character. I'm just saying
I'm just
he was like
about the Terrell Owens thing, going back to like Terrell Owens.
Oh, why he didn't get in and stuff.
Yeah.
But the thing about Lewis was great player, loves talking, has been part of a murder trial. So that speech is either gonna motivate you or scare the shit out of you. And one hypothetical I want to bring up here: what if he gets so into his speech that he accidentally confesses to that murder during his speech?
When I murdered that, I mean, when they said that I murdered that chick, I had to look at myself and think,
oh my gosh,
you're better than this.
That'd be wild. But do you agree? Like, is this an awesome class?
It's a good class. I just think Owens and Moss take it to a whole other level.
Oh, they do for sure.
Just because of their personalities, and everybody loved watching them. Like whether you hated Terrell Owens or Randy Moss or loved them, you had to watch them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like you fucking were watching Randy Moss walking out of his house and saying straight cash, or off the facility and saying straight cash on me, and Terrell Owens laying outside his house doing sit-ups in the driveway because he knew that fucking helicopters would fly over and videotape a fucking NFL player just doing sit-ups in his drive, working out just to get attention. Like that's when you know you're polarizing. That's Hall of Fame level right there.
Yeah.
When you can get people to fucking watch you doing sit-ups and figure out where you're trying to go, and you fucking know it, like they know that you know it, and you know it. It's you know you're a Hall of Famer. That's how good you are.
Right. I love Owens. The thing about Moss that gets me is, like, there's been so many talented receivers that have come on since Moss, but none of them have been like him. Remember when he came in the league? There was never, like, a guy that was consistently going up, getting jump balls, making these one-handed catches, taking screen passes and taking them to the house because he's faster than everyone. He's taller than everyone. He could out-jump everyone. He never seemed to drop a ball.
Yeah, like, the one-handed catches he had were ridiculous.
Oh, my gosh. Like, that guy changed the receiver position, and the way that the game, I've said this a couple times now, the way the game's evolved, athletes continue to get better. We've seen quarterbacks get better. We've seen running backs evolve to where they're not just running anymore. They're catching. They're doing all sorts of things. There's been a lot of good receivers. Antonio Brown, Julio Jones, like the list goes on. Calvin Johnson. None of them, in my eyes, are Randy Moss, which says a lot.
Yeah, Calvin Johnson was maybe the closest because the things that he did I just remember the Cowboys talking shit about him multiple times, and then him catching touchdowns multiple times, literally once over 3 guys in the end zone. At points where Stafford would get in trouble, Sean Hill would get in trouble, and just kind of throw it in his area, and he would catch guys. And then he could take a slant and take it to the house as well, because he had 4.4 speed. Calvin Johnson was close to that level. He was bigger, stronger.
Oh, stronger. Yeah, absolutely.
He didn't get going as fast as Randy Moss. To me, those two are debatable, honestly, as far as talented wide receiver, like some of the best wide receivers I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But I think we forget about. I think this is weird, and it's just kind of starting to hit me more and more as I watch this guy. But DeAndre fucking Hopkins.
Love DeAndre Hopkins.
He might be the best wide receiver in the game right now.
Yeah, and the fact that he came on when Watson came on, and
what can't he do?
And then Watson obviously got hurt, and he still stayed on like that.
What can't DeAndre Hopkins do? I don't like. You put the ball in his area, like especially when he gets near the end zone. That guy makes some of the most incredible catches. Nobody's got a better ball skill than him.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how he does it.
Some
of the catches he makes are gross.
There's like that one against the Steelers where he was already on the sideline, had a guy draped on him, basically tipped the ball to himself. Like, he just does stuff that not many people do. There's so many good guys in the league.
He might be my number 1 ranked fantasy football wide receiver.
I don't think you're alone.
I might be the only one to put him that high.
I don't think you're alone on that.
I feel like I will be. I think people still put like Julio. I mean, probably not dumb enough to put Julio anymore, but Brown and Odell Beckham will come back, and people will be all over that as well. But to me, I don't see how I don't put DeAndre Hopkins right now. I
We
think
had
I'd be a fool.
I don't know if you saw this one. We had a Twitter poll mentioned to us, and it was basically what you're saying. It was who's going to be the top receiver, and those
Yeah.
were your options. And there was a
AJ
lot
Green.
of yeah, but he wasn't even on that. I don't think.
Oh, he's fucking good every year.
Well,
though.
he's
Like,
always good. Yeah, he's
I
so
feel like
consistent,
he's consistently better than Julio.
which is crazy to think, but he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, considering you'd rather have Ryan than Dalton too, it seems like.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's something to that. But yeah, Julio, or I mean, Hopkins actually I think had the most percentage when I looked at it, and I think it's
Yeah.
because a lot of people were a little leery of Odell Beckham with an injury, with Eli, with that team,
Yeah, until the season gets close.
and no one really. I mean, everyone loves Julio and has faith in him. It's just, do you have faith in the people that are calling the plays and getting him the ball?
Devontae Adams is top 5 next year.
Oh gosh, let's talk about that some other year.
Hey,
wanna-
I'm right every time.
I want to talk. Oh yeah, you got your Packers streak going. I will give you that. I want to talk a little bit about the we don't have to talk too much more about the Patriots. Just one interesting thing that I do want to hit on before we close this up was when they asked Gronk about if he's going to play next year,
Oh,
and he
Jesus
said that
Christ.
he wasn't really like totally behind it. He wasn't committed. Wasn't ready to say it. What's your thoughts on that whole Gronk situation?
This big fucking dumbass couldn't live without football. Like, if he woke up in the morning and he didn't have football, he would just wander down the streets drooling and naked because nobody would be directing this big fucking idiot where to go.
Sounds like a fantastic life.
He's just what?
That sounds like a fantastic life.
Yeah, he wouldn't know. Like, he wouldn't even understand what the money he has is, his popularity. He'd just be drooling and fucking stomping through the streets like a big dumb Neanderthal. He doesn't know what he was just heat of the moment, fucking lost a goddamn football game, and so he's like, "Oh, we'll just evaluate." He's playing. He's playing until he has no legs.
He already does. He already has
Or no arms.
He only has one arm left. He has no
Yeah.
back.
Exactly.
I actually heard something that he plays on that whole like I'm a bro, I'm a jock, like I'm a huge guy, I love working out, I love chicks, I love booze, I love partying, and yeah, I play football too. But like they're saying like he is an unbelievable dude about like preparing, going in, putting in the work, and then he's actually, they say he hasn't spent any of his NFL money. The only money he like lives off of is endorsement money.
Yeah, that literally goes back to what I'm saying. He doesn't know how to do anything outside of like being directed what to do. So nobody tells him what to do with his money.
But that guy
so
could
he
be
doesn't do anything with it because he's a big idiot.
no, he could be an on-air personality for anything. He could be fucking the host of The Bachelor or anything,
He's
dude.
an
He
idiot.
could do anything.
He's too dumb.
I think I'm agreeing with you. I think it was the heat of the moment coming off a Super Bowl loss. He just happened to say that. I would say though that it won't totally shock me. We've seen not a lot, but a handful of players retiring due to these injuries. The whole information coming out about head injuries. I don't see it happening. I think he's going to play as well. But
It's not happening.
I think he plays next year for sure. But I've said this before on the podcast that it wouldn't shock me if he doesn't have as long of an NFL career as like fans would hope.
He plays 100 more years.
He plays until he can't walk, like you said.
He doesn't know anything else.
He already has one immovable arm, man.
That's like he is legitimately the biggest jock I've ever seen in my entire life. Like when you look at stereotypical jock
Oh, it's him.
from like the 1970s, he is like it to
Yeah.
the T. Like you couldn't even draw it up any better than that.
He is our version of Dick Hammer. That's all I
It's-
got.
It's ridiculous.
You got anything else you want to?
Thad from Blue Mountain State. He's like that.
No, I've
I
never
think
seen
that's
it.
his name.
Never seen it.
Oh,
Can't comment.
you should watch that. That's fucking hilarious.
I'll get on it as soon as I finish up my last couple episodes of Cheers here. I've been
Red
finishing
Night
up.
Lights.
So. You got anything else you want to chat about?
No, we've gone pretty fucking long here.
Alrighty. Well, we talked about Twitter. We're on that at Loaded Box. Check us out. Be follower number 2000. Actually, you should be follower like 1011, so we can get
No,
up
it's
to
like
2000.
13 or something.
All right. Regardless.
Fuck it.
Talked about the website earlier, loadedboxpodcast.wordpress.com. Next episode, not
11,
sure
you're
what we're doing yet, but it will be our best episode to date. I can already guarantee it.
Oh, shit.
We're available on iTunes. Search Loaded Box, subscribe, rate, and review. And with that, DJ, send us away.
How comfortable is your body bag?
Fuck right off.
Bye.
Pizza for life.